Dear Black Americans, these videos are for you. Watch them and I'll be back.
I look at beauty, all these beautiful indigenous peoples across the world, and the ways in which their cultures and their lands have been attempted to be stolen and taken and successfully been stolen and taken, etc. And then I think about us, Black Americans, and how so many of us don't understand that we are special. And something that is so uniquely special to us that we see all the time is our innovation, our ability to create. And I don't think folks understand that we've had to create our culture. We are a new people. Do you know that? We are a version of indigeneity that, to my knowledge, the world has never seen before. We have had to form our indigeneity within us because we weren't given the option or the opportunity to form it in the land. We had to be the land. We have had to be the soil. It has grown directly from us. And so that is why there is so much effort to keep us separated, because were we to actually come together, imagine how we would be able to shift things, because we would be a whole other land on this land. I wish we all knew how special we were and how even more effective we would be were we special together.
Dear Black women, just need to remind you all, don't pay attention to the negativity. Don't pay attention to those who put you down or look at you down for whatever the reason is. Focus on the people like me who support you and appreciate you and love you the way you are. Because the reality check is about Black women are not just human beings, but they're also queens. And that's what they are. They're humans and equal and princesses. The same way how I treat my girlfriend, who is a beautiful Black queen, as a person and a queen. Black is beautiful.
You got people claiming to be Christians out here talking about, well, Charlie Kirk was wrong for talking about the Black father being out of the home. What you think Jesus think about that? You think Jesus wouldn't call us to correction as well? You think he's okay with the debauchery in our community? You think he's okay with the family being out of order? With kids being raised by mamas only, therefore our little boys are running around in dresses? Because that's all they know. You think Jesus would be okay with that? Because when Jesus walked the earth, he was all about correcting people for their sin and their wrongs. And if you're not open to correction, you will continue to be wrong. We might not even have many kids coming around in the Black community because we got so many people who want to be women that we don't have enough people to plant seeds to make babies with anymore. They throwing their seed on the ground or up inside somebody's backside. That is debauchery. That is not something Jesus would be okay with. So you can be mad at Charlie Kirk for calling us out and calling us to a higher standard. But honey, if you think you going to heaven and you not ready for correction, it's going to get real hot in your world.
Black people in America, I need you to hear me. As a Black American, I need you to understand that our ancestors have built this country brick by brick. Blood, sweat, and tears went into building this country. Yet when we look around, we are less than 1% of the land, the businesses, everything. Yet we are the biggest consumers of a lot of these businesses. We have paved the way. Our ancestors have died just so we can be free. Yet other people are thriving off of American resources and we have nothing. Do y'all understand that we have nothing? And yet we're still not seen, not respected by everybody who's coming here and thriving off a foundation that our ancestors died over and built. Do y'all understand that? We are literally the blueprint of a lot of the culture, a lot of the influence. We need to protect, rebuild, and reclaim what's ours. We are not a trend, we are the foundation. Yet people try to give us crumbs. We have nothing, guys. Yet We open up America so all these other countries, all other Africans, all other ethnicities can thrive. And we are less than 1% and we don't have anything. And we constantly spend our money with all these other corporations that don't benefit the Black community. I think you guys, we really need to figure this out. This should make you angry that our ancestors built all this shit, yet we still don't have shit. We don't have shit. And a lot of Black people are constantly trying to prove that they have money, spending money with these big corporations. We still don't have land. We still don't have a bunch of shit. And I'm not discrediting a lot of the Black people who do have things, but we're not the majority. Look at the statistics. Look at the rate. Our ancestors built this shit. Blood, sweat, and tears. They've died. And we've paved the way for so many other people to come here and thrive, and we don't have anything. You guys need to wake up. And it's been on my heart heavy, so I had to make a video about it. There are more, just looking at the Amanda Seals video, there are a lot of Black people in America who think that Black people don't amount to anything in our own communities, and it's not our fault. But we have to stick together, guys, and there's a revolution that needs to come about because our ancestors built this shit, and we don't have shit. We don't have shit.
I'm an African American. I'm the only person in the world who's had issues or who's faced discrimination. No, you're not. American Black people are not the only people who've gone through hardship in this world. The same way slavery or the history of America has an impact on Black people, history itself still impacts Black people across the world today. And that's what a lot of you don't seem to understand. Your great-granddad or your granddad was a slave. Fair enough, innit? But so many African nations are still being affected by the West today. Look at Congo. As a clear example, it doesn't have to be slavery in your face for it to still be slavery in your face. Do you know where the resources in your iPhones come from? Congo. Them man are still going through it right now. I'm an African American. I'm the only person in the world who's had issues or who's faced discrimination. No, you're not. I'm an African American. All these people are stealing our culture. It's not really you. It's because of the country where you're from has this real big impact on media. So yes, a lot of us in the world, white, Black, blue, pink, grew up on American culture. Not specifically Black, but hip hop is cool. Hip hop is dominant. Athletes are cool. Like any child and every young person in the world, you look up to people you can identify with. So if you see a Michael Jordan, a Tupac, a Biggie, a Jay-Z, you're going to admire them and you might adopt elements of their culture. It's not rocket science. It's not that deep. You're not the only Black people who have to navigate being a minority in another part of the world. So relax.
What happens when the water runs out? What happens when the food runs out? What happens when that shortage is just supposed to be a temporary shortage ends up being a long-term shortage? What happens when that dollar no longer holds its value? BRICS. You should be looking up BRICS. If you don't understand what BRICS is, BRICS. You should be researching that. You should be understanding what that is. What happens when the world no longer cooperates with the United States tyrannical rule? What happens when the ship that you're depending on sinks? What happens when this country collapses? Will you go down with the ship? The problem with a lot of pro-Black talk is we don't seem to comprehend the long-term effect. We don't seem to comprehend or think of what's to come in the future. I understand the war talk. I understand the self-defense talk, but where we miss a lot of times is we are encased, engulfed, surrounded by a failing nation, a nation that owes everybody in the world money, a nation that owes everybody in the world something, a nation that is in everybody's business, a nation that is meddling and manipulating everybody's business around the world. And there's a breaking point to this. There's a point, whether if it's China, Russia, Africa, whoever, the many laundry list of enemies this country has, there is a breaking point where everyone will say no more. You can look to Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. You can look at Putin. You can look at China. You can look everywhere in the world. If you are not completely sold, if you are not completely brainwashed and conditioned by American propaganda, and see what the play is. It isn't even so much so warfare physically. It's cyber. It's agricultural. It's mental, emotional, social media warfare. It's all of this. See, everyone knows that the American military is not nothing to play with. So a lot of the other countries and continents are treading on a line while trying to figure out how to combat this enemy. African Americans, Mexican Americans, Native Americans, we're the only ones on enemy soil that have the potential to do the most damage because we're here domestically. So I'm gonna ask again, will you go down with the ship? Because this ship will sink. This ship is sinking. It don't take much research for you to learn that. I want black people, Native Americans, Hispanic Americans to stop with this bullshit. There is no real issue here between black, Native American, Hispanic, okay? There's no real issue. Here's what happens. Black people have a bad experience with Hispanics. Black people have a bad experience with Native Americans. Native Americans have a bad experience with black people. Hispanic people have a bad experience with Native Americans and black people. And then we all just close our doors to each other for good. We have a common enemy. We have common history. There is no reason to shut your doors to each other. Everybody experiences a bad apple in the bunch. But one bad apple in that bunch can spoil the entire bunch. So we have to understand that these self-hatred monsters, these individuals that have been consumed by their own trauma, consumed by their own experiences, and that has been the conditioning method that they've created entire narratives and ideology around. We can't have that. Those individuals are too dangerous for this community because they become harmful and self-destructive to the narrative that we're trying to push forward. If you hope to push forward unity, whether if it's in the black community, Hispanic community, Native American community, you cannot have any self-destructive people in it. You can't have none of the whitewashness, whether if it's black, Native American, or Hispanic. You can't have no sellouts. You can't have none of them halfway pro-black, halfway whitewashed people. You can't have none of it. You have to be very, very meticulous and careful in how you let people in the gate. That is the only place where gatekeeping is good. We have to start gatekeeping this community. You know who contributes? You know who benefits from us being a mess? From us sitting up here trying to tear each other apart every 5 seconds over everything and anything? One group of people. You know who benefits, right? So if you know who benefits, you should be going against it at all costs. At all costs. If I have a problem with black women, that's my issue with black women. I will not sit up here and disparage and disrespect them on social media waves or period, for the simple fact that I know who's watching this and I know what validation that they're trying to seek out. You got individuals that follow me right now, not just white, black, Native American, Hispanic, whitewashed, sellout individuals that are just waiting in the shadows, that are just watching just to be nosy, that are just watching just to keep tabs on me. They operate on keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. I also understand that lifestyle. I understand the rule. So they can't get out of our business. They can't leave us alone because their very existence as a sellout is dependent upon keeping us underneath a white thumb. And lastly, if you've gotten this far, nothing I ever do for this community will be advertised on the internet. That goes for that video I posted, that video, nothing I do will be shown. Nothing, no action I take will be shown on the internet. If you have to question that and you don't understand why, you're part of the problem and you need to get the hell off my page.
Dear black people, I don't know who out there needs to hear this, but listen, I want to be your friend. If any of you have any doubt that people like me want to be friends with people like you, don't have any more doubt, because I'm one of them. I want to be your friend. Come on, let's be friends. If you see somebody like me come across your FYP, do you have a problem being friends with me? If you don't, can you hit that like button, the follow button, and all the other buttons? I'll do the same for you. Follow me, I'll follow you, and I'll do all the things and support your page. We all need to try to make a difference in everybody's life. We all need to love each other. I'm down for it. Are you down for it? I have a lot of black people that follow me and that I follow. I have a lot of black friends. Can y'all be my friends too? I'm just asking. Some people will, some people won't. But listen, I love each and every one of y'all. I'm for real. So just follow me and I'll follow you. And let's make this world a better place.
I'm gonna change the TikTok trend real quick. Dear black people, don't mind how I look today, but if I landed on your For You page and you don't mind being friends with somebody that looks like me, can we be friends? That's all I want to know.
Dear Black America, don't let the rage baiting distract you from the fact that this year's Met Gala raised more money than any other Met Gala in their 77-year history. Yeah, black people did that. So while the girls are in the comment sections trying to rage bait us like they always do, we make history yet again. Congrats to all my black people, whether you American, whether you from, I don't care where you from. We did it.
This message is for Black American women only. I love you. I really do. And I implore you to prune that friend circle. And you know what I'm talking about. I want you to keep your plans, whatever you're organizing, to yourself. Keep it to yourself. And keep it off of these apps. Do not let anyone know what you are doing, because if you had any doubts before, you now know. It is really just us. It is a sad day, but I'm optimistic because there's no more doubt in my mind. And with that comes a lot of clarity. Be well.
Dear Black people, I need y'all to shut the fuck up. And I mean this with absolutely no disrespect. I need us to shut the fuck up. You talking back to these people and giving them more than they deserve. If he wants to shed tears for his brethren and whatever Lord that they believe in, let him shed a tear. Let him shed a tear. Shut the fuck up. We're talking too much because we want everyone to be on a playing field of understanding. And you know that everybody will not and cannot understand. So be quiet. Shut the fuck up. Get your popcorn. Sit back. Relax. And let it play. Okay.
Just the other day, I saw one of my Black sisters in Christ post a video where she took the time to say that Charlie Kirk was murked because he was a truth teller. She compared the publicized nature of his death to the days when enslaved Black men who were working to lead a revolt were hanged by rough, rugged ropes to send a message to others to stay in their place. She then tried to say that he wasn't rude or disrespectful, but I want to tell my dear sister that she either doesn't know or is forgetful that he said a mouthful of disparaging remarks about our people that came from his heart. I want to tell my dear sister it's a slap in the face to our ancestors to compare the valiant nature of their deaths to a man who spent semester after semester attempting to downplay their legacy and the trauma of their descendants with each of his breaths. I want to tell her that yes, it's tragic and this man should not have been shot, but this is the same person that spoke of qualified Black women and said they didn't have the brain processing power to be taken seriously, so they went to steal a white person's slot. I want to ask my dear sister, how can we lay claim to a faith that is based on redemption, love, empathy, and being greater than your mistakes, then have a great deal of our base spit in the face of morals and decency and stand in support of a man who frequently stood on the other side of those tenets? And I'm not without sin, so I'm not here to cast stones, but Mr. Kirk's truth-telling was not based in love and proved to be lethal. His energy was rooted in sowing division and dehumanizing God's people. I agree that no one should celebrate the murder of a human being, but as believers in Christ, with all of our declaring and decreeing, we understand just as much as anyone the power of the tongue in the life that we're supposed to be speaking, and we serve a God of justice and empathy. But how can we be taken seriously if we throw support to a man who didn't even believe in it? I want to tell my sister I have to challenge our overall commitment to morality. And tragically, this is a difficult reality to fathom when we speak about the love of the Holy Spirit. And how can we expect anyone to hear it or believe us when our brothers and sisters in Christ are aligning themselves with the kind of person who would have hammered the nails into Jesus? My sister, his words were cancerous to so many when our words need to be like marrow. I know the gate is small and the road is narrow, but how can we study someone like Moses only to wind up being overly apologetic to someone who had a hardened heart like Pharaoh? Our truth tellers have names like Tubman, Sojourner, Turner, and Vesey. And I say these words not to be combative or messy, but to say it's dangerous when we let our faith overshadow the ways people treat us. And I know we are called to forgive, but I feel like it's egregious to make excuses for people who live their life to stoke fear and spoke about so many people without the love of Jesus.
Dear Black people, specifically African American people, children of the formerly enslaved, listen up. It is a beautiful thing, and the ancestors are rejoicing in the fact that we are reclaiming and recovering the African American language dialect called Tut or Tutnese. But I will remind you to keep it off of social media. There's a lot of you out here who are telling white people, reminding them that this isn't for them, and good on that. But I want to remind you that historically, white people do not listen. When we tell them to keep their hands off of our shit, they're going to put their hands and their feet and their whole body in our shit. So keep it off of social media. Share it with other Black people. privately and with caution. Keep it off of social media.
Well. I want to start out first by saying I do not condone political violence in any kind of way. I don't care which side of the aisle you stand on. But none of y'all had thoughts and prayers for those Democratic lawmakers, did you, in Minnesota? Oh, no. Y'all didn't have thoughts and prayers, and y'all went out here screaming, let's not make this a political issue, dear. No, you were not. No, you were not. No, you were not. You were trying to point the finger at Democrats because a crazy-ass red hat unalived some Democrats. So there's that. And already, the GOP regime has come out today. Even J.D. Vance in his toddler pants with his queer-ass stance is asking for America's thoughts and prayers today for Charlie Kirk. Firstly, J.D., just get over it. Secondly, I don't have extra thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk today because we must reserve our thoughts and prayers for school children who are unalived while trying to pray and attend school. So I'm sorry. All the thoughts and prayers that I have, I must reserve them for the next school shooting, dear. I don't have time to waste them on Charlie Kirk. Sorry. Maybe you should just get over it. Oh, what? That upsets you? That offends you in some kind of way that I could be so cruel? It's called giving what you get. And that's what you gave to me, so I'm giving it the fuck back to you. Get over it. Thoughts and prayers on reserve for school-aged children today. Okay.
I'm going to say this one thing about this whole Black Americans don't have culture. Y'all don't know where y'all from. I wish this debate would end because it's always us. For Black Americans to so-called not know where they come from, even though we do know where we come from the Americas, it baffles me how all other Black or African people and everywhere else want to always attack Black Americans. Why y'all always attacking us? Because we have the most prominent culture. If we didn't have the most prominent culture, nobody wouldn't be coming for us. But the reality of it is Black Americans, whether it is positive or not, we built our own culture that's based off of our Black experience in America. Everybody be copying it. Everybody, even the Africans be copying it. Y'all be stealing Black American culture. Y'all only coming for us because our culture is just that prevalent, that prominent. And then for old girl who brought it up to be saying, we come over here, we do better than y'all. Baby, if it wasn't for my Black indigenous culture here in America, you and whoever else wouldn't even, couldn't even come over here. You wouldn't have been able to even come over here. And you only coming over here because your family had the money to come over here. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how the only Africans who can actually immigrate and go to school and come to America are the ones who daddy doing some corrupt politician stuff. Y'all got money. The only Africans who can afford to come to America and go to school here and be here are the African parents who have money. So the small percentage of y'all compared to the majority of Africans who are poor, who can't even take a vacation to America. Stop playing. Just stop. Stop. Black Americans, we don't check for nobody, bro. Like, we got so much that we deal with on our own. We don't check for no other African people nowhere else. We only be worried about ourselves, but everybody else be checking for us. Everybody else coming for us. We don't care about y'all. Like, I don't know. I can guarantee you can come up to any Black American in America and ask them if they care about if we think or Africans live rent free in our head. We don't care. We don't be thinking about y'all. We don't think about where y'all at. We don't think about nothing regarding any other African people, like Black people at all. But every time I get on this app, it's like every quarter, some African people from the UK, some African people from Nigeria, African people from Ghana, always saying stuff about Black Americans. Leave us alone, bro. We're not thinking about you, sweetheart. We're not. I guarantee you we're not. So just stop.
I'm going to take a moment to come on here and be real with y'all as I always do, because I need y'all to understand Black people's pain when white people sympathize and empathize with racists, right? You don't understand it. A white friend of mine just texted me. He said that he saw my video and in his own mind, he's conflicted too. And he's trying to make sense of how he should feel about the situation that just happened and everything like that, right? You need to understand a little bit about me, right? I think that I have an almost obligation to speak on topics like this because of my background, right? Like, I grew up with white people. Y'all don't understand the extent that goes to. Like, there were less than 5 Black boys the entire time I was in grade school, from pre-K to senior year of high school. Most of the time, I was the only one, right? When I was finding my sense of identity or who I was going to hang out with or my friend group as a child, my options were white. There was no black family that was in the same neighborhood as my options were white, right? And it was not an issue. I love my white friends. I was just hanging out with a bunch of them from high school last Christmas, right? I love my white friends. But you cannot imagine the pain I feel in my heart, in my core, when I see people that I consider my fucking brothers because they've acted brotherly my entire life. They sympathize with a racist. You have no idea the tears I have to hold back as a grown man when I see people that I love and I care about and I would go out of my way for. Like empathize with the racist. Do you know how heartbreaking that is? What I'm realizing here is that there's an issue with people's threshold as to what qualifies as racism. A lot of white people right now that are calling him a man of God and saying that he wasn't racist. Show me the proof. Your threshold of racism starts at violence or calls to violence. And just because that man wasn't on the microphone saying exterminate all the black people now, you don't qualify that as racism. That's a you problem. That's a definition problem, right? Racism is when you see somebody of a certain race and your immediate judgment, your immediate opinion of that person is negative. You don't have to wish them a negative life. You don't have to wish them misfortune. It's that immediate opinion, that immediate thought in your head when you see that person and all you know is their race. That is racism. And then you make predictions and assumptions about everybody else that looks like that person, right? And by my understanding, sympathizing and empathizing with those people who do that, whether they're alive or not, is in a way agreeing with that dumbass ideology or saying that it's okay to have that dumbass ideology. So again, when I'm looking at people that I love, that I care about, that I would go out of my way for, that I wish the best for, and they didn't vote for Donald Trump, they're not MAGA, right? But then they sympathize and empathize with this guy. I think we've all seen the quotes and videos by now, and I don't need to keep reiterating the words and rhetoric this man used. I think it's safe to say that man damn near hated black people. I think it's safe to say when that man saw a group of black people in a space, immediate negative opinion. That's racism. So yeah, it breaks my heart when I think about all the memories and the good times and the happy times and the core memories that I've had with these white people that are sympathizing with a racist and arguing with me and other black people saying that he's not. The same way y'all went and told Joey Swole that he did nothing wrong. You are not the victim. And the victim doesn't have to be mutilated on the street to be a victim. It's not hitting y'all. His words and his rhetoric and what he's pushing for and what he's advocating for, it's not hitting y'all as hard and as heavy as it's hitting us. And my whole life, they've called me one of the good ones, as fucked up as that is. So I get this weird pass from white people, right? But then I literally still feel the differences in what it's like to be a black man and a black person in America, right? I understand it. I see it. I feel it. I peep it, right? And then I see somebody advocating for the same bullshit that myself and other people that look like me still have to deal with in 2025. He tragically loses his life. And now people that I love want me to empathize with him because he threw some scriptures amongst his hateful rhetoric. I explain this to my friend as what white allies are asking from black people right now. If we use y'all's logic, you're saying that Because the slave owner had a Bible in his left hand, the slaves should have empathy for him, even though he had a whip in his right hand and he was beating them with it. You slap Christian, you slap scripture over anything, and the actions and the words that are still a part of that human being are just ignored. Yeah, that hurts. What y'all are asking black people to do right now hurts a lot. So with all that said, in a way, you could say that I'm y'all. When you take away the physical things, obviously, when you take that out of the conversation, out of the equation, in a way, you could say that I'm y'all. I grew up surrounded by y'all. That was all I saw. There was no other culture for me to implement myself in. It was that culture since a kid, since a youngin, since like 2, 3, 4, 5 and up, right? Like, so you take away the physicalities, like I'm y'all. I grew up in the same world y'all did, right? So many black people have called me whitewashed. To this day, I don't readily consider myself a part of the culture. I love my black brothers and sisters with a passion, but I've met plenty of black people that just call me whitewashed and write me off because of that. Or they say, oh, you're not really black because of the way I talk or the way I carry myself and everything like that, right? So in a sense, you could say that I am y'all, right? But then, when we do implement the physical part of it into the equation, and we evaluate CK's words while he was here on Earth, now it's a whole different approach. We grew up in the same environment, same culture, same background, same memory, same school, same friend group, same outings, same venue, same vacations. I've been to the beach with my white friends, and I ended up in a Jason Aldean concert. Like, I was right there with y'all, smiling ear to ear, happy to be there, right? But then, when it's time for me to be a black man amongst y'all, now it's different. Now you're asking me to sympathize with people that wish negative things on people like me. How do you do that? How do you spend, what am I, 29? So how do you spend the last, let's say we met in high school, right? So how do you spend the last decade saying we homies, saying we cool, saying we buddies? But then you're asking me to have empathy for this shit. You can't look at me and make it make sense because you know it doesn't make sense. And I honestly think that you should be ashamed for expecting us to be empathetic to the man who said empathy was weakness.
Harriet would have left me behind. That's what somebody said. Harriet Tubman would have left me behind. I beg to differ. I think she'd be actually very proud of me. I think her and all my ancestors would be extremely proud of me of what I did with the freedoms that they fought for, all the hard work that they put in to fight for my freedom. They would be extremely proud of the fact that I worked hard and I made myself successful. And I did not look for handouts. I did not beg nobody. I did not have to tap dance for nobody to get it. I did it off the strength of my own hard work. I didn't sit around making excuses for why I couldn't do stuff. No, I just got it done. But what have you done with the freedoms that they fought for? What accomplishments do you actually have to show for it? See, because a lot of y'all who do all this big talking about somebody cooning, tap dancing, getting left behind, you actually the ones who need to be left behind. Right? You are the ones that's detrimental to the community. You are the menace to societies. And then you got y'all ones who sit up constantly having these victim Olympics, constantly making excuses for why you can't do something because you don't actually put towards the effort to do nothing. Right? And the ones of us who have actually been productive, the ones who have actually been successful, the ones who have actually taken that freedom and used it to make something out of ourselves, y'all talk down to us as if we the problem in the community. No, we're not. We're the ones actually making them proud. We actually showing that their hard work didn't go in vain. I'm going to make sure I'm an example of black excellence to show them that I appreciate the sacrifices that were made. I understand what they went through. I understand the lives that were lost just so that I could have the freedom to be able to live the way I live. A lot of y'all are embarrassments. I know a lot of them rolling over in their graves seeing what you've done with the hard work that they fought for. In the words of John Cannon, let's go life for life. Let's see what you've done with the years here on this earth. Let's see what you've done with the freedoms that they fought for. Because I know that I can be proud of mine. I know I did exactly what they would have wanted me to do with it. I'm in positions that they fought for me to be in. Can you say the same?
And she's absolutely correct. Her ancestors would definitely be proud of her. The most embarrassing thing is we do a terrible job of supporting positive living African Americans. We only support the ghetto, underachieving, trend-following individuals. We have a crab in a bucket mentality overall as a people. That's why we're cooked. I'm going to give you a fine example of that. When somebody graduates from college, do we hoop and holler and support them? Absolutely not, unless that's a family member. But when somebody's fresh out the penitentiary, we throwing birthday parties, we're throwing parades, we're hanging the New Year blimp. Does that make any sense at all? Let me make this simple. Any African American that has not carried before they married, have a successful career, and is also attractive, definitely deserves their flowers. But y'all don't seem to understand the problem with that, because you want everybody on the same dusty level as you. We are our own worst enemy. Nobody else. Just us. And then when we hold each other accountable, we're looked at as Uncle Tom. Leave your comment in the comment section.
Hope you watch those videos, right? The whole essence of this particular video, looking at the fact that it is Monday, is to prepare you for the days ahead and for the week ahead, for you to know what is trending at the moment, right? For you to know, oh, this is what to do, this is how to actually, react or behave when something happens. Now, in that video, I've heard a lot of people say, protect your culture, build each other, love each other, make friends among yourselves. Right? So a lot of things are happening. Do not stop standing up for each other. It's very important. Because when you guys are united, you can hardly be broken. Do not forget, you all are great people. You are leaders. And as such, you should behave as one. Right? Take all of the messages in this video and let me see what you think you got from those video in the comments, right? I'll bring you a very powerful one after this. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. It's me, Global Jason BJ. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.